All right, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, once again from the control scopes, and welcome to another stream with Captain Nabs here. Doing some live ATC today from, we're going to do it from Winnipeg Center. So we are here today in Winnipeg Center, and we got a bunch of airplanes hanging out here, so let's see if we can get a hold of some of them. We just logged on, we haven't talked to anybody yet. Hopefully this is all set up correctly. Actually, before I even do anything, I should probably just make sure that my audio is set correctly here. Because I've been messing with different settings, so let's give it a little try here. That looks like that should work. So we're going to see how this works. Let's see if we can get a hold of some airplanes here. And before we even do that, I'm just going to quickly actually do one other thing, which is I'm going to set up my ATAs, but I don't even seem to have... you gotta be kidding me, I don't even have the ATIS installed. Haha! Because I'm actually using my other computer today, which is why today you can see actually a tower view here in Winnipeg. So here at the airport in Winnipeg, I actually have a tower installed. And yeah, I am surprised that I do not have this installed here, but I guess I haven't controlled Winnipeg from this computer before. So give me one moment, guys, while I just get this sorted out. If I can have a... There we go. Just give me 1 second. Alright, and I just need to find my settings file here, so just give me one more second. I just find it, because apparently I am not on the ball here. And I have somebody calling me. Okay. WestJet 470. Why am I not getting any airplanes in my list here? Oh, I think I know where to find stuff. It's just never where you want it. I feel like it's on their Discord. Alright, so we got one guy, Squawk 0152. There he is. Alright, so he's identified, and yeah, sorry, I'm just, I feel like an idiot, but like here I am trying to log in and do some controlling, and I'm not even set up properly here. Oh, no, I found where they are. Okay. I think. There we go. Alright, sorry guys. I am not set up for this at all. which is just very, very silly of me to even bother trying to log in for a stream and not be set up for it. Um, I thought it didn't even occur to me because a lot of the other places don't even use VATIS, so it just sort of didn't even occur to me to load these up, but to even look for them just didn't even occur to me. I don't know that. Just silly. Still have to set this program up. There we go. Okay, back to what we were doing here. Sorry about that, guys. That was terrible. Not ready at all. But there we go. Hey, look, and you even get me in the corner now. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Okay, so there's WestJet 570. He's the one guy we've identified here. We got to just get our ATIS up and running. So the wind's in Winnipeg, 260 at 3. So kind of splitting the difference between 3.6 and or 3.1. 3.1's probably the best bet at this point. So let's set up for 3.1. Will be what we do here. All right. And let's see if I can get a few other people to call me here that are in my airspace. This guy looks like he's landing in outside of Moose Jaw there. And who else is in my airspace? This guy here, this guy here. And this guy here. All right. So we got... Just got to get a little bit. Apparently I'm probably not using the right sector files here. Because I don't even have access to the correct tags. I really was not ready for this stream. I kind of picked Winnipeg just because there's a whole bunch of traffic in it, which is kind of rare in Winnipeg. There's often not a lot of traffic, so I just kind of picked it for that reason. That was obviously a bit of a mistake. So, Aaron, welcome to the stream. Yeah, let's. Well, we're gonna see if we can figure out what's going on here and see if we can figure out how to get these guys talking to us here. We should be. Let's check. Nobody's called us on the radio yet, so these guys are all not expecting us to be online here. That's part of the problem. Let's see.
Winnipeg Center, Encore 345, flight level 240.
And sorry, Encore, say the flight number again.
Encore 345.
Encore 345, good evening, squawk code 0164.
0164.
Probably this guy right here. 240. I might have to restart this here because it's just not working. Encore 345, thanks, identified flight level 240, welcome.
Winnipeg Center, Air Canada 3112 with you at flight level 370.
Air Canada 312, Vancouver, Winnipeg, good evening. Let's see here. Air Canada 312, squawk code 2673.
2673, Air Canada 312.
All right, let's see if we can get these guys all identified. I think I might have to just quickly close the client and reopen it because it seems like it just has not loaded.
Center, good evening, Encore 3380 on the ground in Saskatoon, Gate 3 with information, India. Requesting clearance IFR to Edmonton, please.
All right, first of all, Air Canada 312, you're identified, flight level 370, welcome.
Welcome there, Air Canada 3112.
And Encore 3380, Winnipeg. Give me a moment here to work you out here. All right, so let's see Saskatoon, 180. And yeah, you know what? We're just gonna try and reset this file because it just doesn't seem to want to be working here. So again, give me about 2 minutes here. And Encore 3380, just having a little bit of difficulty with the scope right now. Just give me about 2 minutes. I'm just gonna try a reset and see if we can get it to work a little better.
Okay, we copy that. We'll stand by. Thank you.
Thank you. Alright, so we're just going to get rid of this for a second here. And I'm just going to try a reset. Because it just does not seem to want to work, so just give it 1 second here, guys. Alright, still does not seem to want to work very well, but I literally cannot load anything. Nothing seems to want to load properly here, and I'm just not sure why. I'm going to try it one more time here. Normally this stuff loads up pretty well, so it's really kind of frustrating when it does not want to load up the way it's supposed to. I think we got it now, maybe. Try it one more time. Now I think it's working correctly. Yep. Now we got it to work correctly. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. It was a little annoying. Obviously just not on the ball here, not ready when I should be. So let's just open this up and just say we should have this ready to go. There's center. Alright, so we've identified Air Canada 312, Air Canada, or Encore 34, WestJet 570. Yep, okay. There we go. And Encore 3380, Winnipeg, how do you read? Encore 3380, and I'm sorry, I had the volume muted there momentarily. Just to confirm you can still read me 5 now?
That's affirmed, sir. 5 by 5.
Okay, my apologies for the delay. We seem to have gotten the quirks in the system worked out here. Right now the winds in Winnipeg, or correction, in Saskatoon are out of 180. Runway 15 for departure, unless you'd like something else.
Yeah, we'd like to take 27 if we can, thanks.
Okay, Encore 3380, I can accommodate that. You're cleared to Edmonton via the Saskatoon 8 departure. Radar vectors to radar vectors onto Tango 755 on course. Depart runway 27, squawk code 0641.
Okay, Encore 3380 is cleared to the Edmonton International Airport via the Saskatoon 8 departure. Vectors to Tango 755 off runway 27, and that's 0681, was it, for the squawk?
0641 for the squawk, Encore 3380.
Okay, 0641, thank you.
Encore 3380, your readback is all correct. I could give you the whole sequence in Saskatoon if you need it.
No, that's should be all we need, thanks. That's good enough for us.
Very good. Encore 3380, give me a call when you are ready for taxi.
Okay, we'll give you a call when ready for taxi, Encore 3380.
Alright, so one thing that I don't have is I don't have a ground view for Saskatoon, so we're going to have to create one here. So let's see if I can. There we go. And then if I hit save on that, then that should do it. So there's the Encore now.
Winnipeg Center, SkyQ 4874 radio check.
And I missed the call sign 4874. What was the airline?
SkyQ 4874. We crossed La Paz short time ago, flight level 350.
SkyCube 4874, Winnipeg, good evening, squawk ident. SkyCube 4874 Heavy, thanks. Identified flight level 350, welcome. It's weird, for some reason my button's not working here. Aaron Terrazas asks, will I make videos flying the Q400 again? Probably, but I honestly don't know when. I really enjoyed flying the Q400, but ever since MSFS came out, I have a hard time spending much time in P3D. It's just the scenery is so much better. Just like it's just a whole different aircraft better. Like I can't even reconcile it. So I would like to one day, but I just don't know when that's going to happen. I honestly don't. I wonder, I have track IR running, I wonder if that has blocked something here, because I can't seem to switch. Yeah. There we go. That's probably why. There we go. Yeah, my track IR had taken control of my F7 key and was why I could not swap views. There we go. All right, slowly solving problems here. This is, first of all, okay, so sorry. Yeah, Aaron, I would like to do more videos about the Q400. I think it's a fantastic airplane to fly. It's tons of fun, but I'm kind of sitting on Microsoft Flight Simulator right now, so I'm trying to I have so many things going on, and I'm trying to sort of trying to sort of pick and choose certain things that I would like to do, and one of them is I'd rather try and keep streaming in Microsoft Flight Simulator for the time being. I'm enjoying the CRJ. I'd like to spend some more time with the DC-6. I have not even taken it out since I got my sim up and running again. So, yeah, I probably will at some point, but I don't know when. It's probably going to be a while. Just because I don't fly P3D very much. I don't stream it. The scenery is such a different lower level of quality that I feel like it's almost a disservice to try and stream that. It's just not a very good, like I said, like a very good sim to stream because it's lower quality. It's not that it's not a good sim to stream, but it's just like it feels like it's such a step backwards trying to use that sim now. So I do use it sometimes just for fun. I'm still waiting for the 737 and the 47 to come out. So I did fly the 47 the other day. I probably will, but streaming probably won't happen as much. I'm hoping that Majestic will consider bringing their Dash 8 to the Microsoft Flight Simulator platform. It doesn't sound like something that's really in the cards right now. It seems like they're still very much dedicated to the P3D platform, which means I'm probably not going to spend much time with it in the near future, unfortunately. So, which is a shame because I do like that airplane. I will fly it, but I'm probably not going to stream it very much, honestly. All right. So what else have we got going on here? So we actually have like got two more guys here. We got the Walker 940. Two more guys in the Winnipeg airspace have not called me yet, so I'm just waiting to see what they do. WestJet's on his way into Winnipeg. He's still got 200 miles to go, so about another 100 miles will give him his descent clearance. He's on text only anyways, so. But yeah, hopefully we'll be able to watch him land here on the tower view. If I click on this, yeah, see I can pan around and I can see this is Winnipeg. Now, what I, of course, have done here now, anybody who's paying attention to the clock, it's not daytime in Winnipeg right now. It's nighttime.
Center, Air Canada 107 with you, level 340.
Air Canada 107, very good evening. Squawk code 0640.
0640 in the box, Air Canada 107.
Air Canada 107, thank you very much. You're identified. Flight level 340. Welcome aboard.
And Winnipeg Center, good evening. Walker 940, heavy, flight level 320.
Walker 940, Winnipeg Center, good evening. Squawk code 0632.
0632, Walker 940.
All right. What was I saying? I totally lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, this is Winnipeg. For those of you that are kind of paying attention, it's quite late in the evening, even in Winnipeg. It's not daytime anymore. But because I kind of wanted to show off the scenery a little bit and the tower view a little bit, I did switch to a daytime view because honestly, the nighttime view, the sim looks quite good at night. But as far as streaming goes, by the time the codecs enabled and disabled it, I'll show you here because I'll do it. I'll switch to real time here. It's night. By the time the codec has kind of enabled and disabled, not enabled, disabled, but by the time the codec has sort of processed the scenery here, the night views tend not to look nearly as good. So
Winnipeg Center, Encore 3380, ready for taxi, runway 27.
Encore 3380, Winnipeg, the Saskatoon altimeter 3046, and the wind showing 180 at 8. Runway 27, taxi out of the apron, Alpha and Foxtrot, hold short 27.
Okay, 3046, we check the winds, and that's Alpha to Fox for 27 for Encore 3380.
This is going to be interesting actually here because we got another Encore just coming up right behind him, so we may have to do some sequencing here just to make sure they're separated adequately as they're both on their way to Edmonton, so it's actually kind of a little bit fun here. Yeah, so this is the sim doesn't look terrible at night, and I'm just trying to look at it here. I'm just looking at my other screen here just to see what it looks like in the stream, and it doesn't look terrible. You can kind of see what's out there. You can see the fact that there's runways, taxiways, lights, and everything out there, so it doesn't look terrible. But I just find like as far as streaming goes, it's a little bit more boring. For those that are wondering, this is not the default Winnipeg scenery. This is actually the FSX scenery. Is the name of the name of the developer. I think they're called FSX scenery. I think they call it MSFS scenery now. They're a prolific, though not particularly high quality scenery developer. They put out a whole ton of scenery improvements that are kind of a little bit of an improvement over the default scenery. The default scenery wouldn't quite look like this, but like nighttime, like their scenery does not look it looks kind of toy-like at night. The buildings have very bright windows that, but without really any real lighting to them. It's a very bright texture that's just allowed to kind of shine there. Their scenery looks better during the day when you've got a more universal light. Like it definitely looks okay during the day. At night, it starts to get a toy-like look because of the way the textures are done in the building, and it's just bright blue textures just to represent light inside the building. It's not very well done, but it's better than default scenery in a lot of cases. The blocky buildings with the default scenery just are not necessarily worth it. So the other reason why I'll support them as a developer, and they don't turn out they turn out a lot of products. Some of them are better than others. Some of them are not that great. But the other reason why I will support them as a developer is that they are just a charity. Everything that they all the revenue that they take in goes to support an animal shelter. So I don't mind spending a little bit of money uh, on an airport that's a little bit better than default. It's not great, but it has a little bit better detail than the default. But knowing that it's also going to support charity, you can kind of write it off in your head that way. Walker 940 Heavy. I don't think I said it, but you are identified flight level 320.
Oh, roger, thanks, Walker 940.
So, yeah, I kind of wanted to show off a little bit of what their scenery looks like. It's not great. It's not great. It's not terrible. This is a developer that basically sits at home, looks at pictures, Google Maps, and stuff like that. Doesn't actually visit these airports, but just kind of works from home to try and build up better than default. And in some cases, they do a very good job. In some cases,
Winnipeg WestJet,
not so good.
correction, Encore 3380, holding short runway 27 at Fox.
Encore 3380. Winnipeg, contact me once you're airborne. The wind's 1808. Clear for takeoff, runway 27.
Okay, clear for takeoff, runway 27. We'll check the winds and we'll give you a call in the air for Encore 3380. Thanks.
All right. So let's see. So he's going to take off, and if we zoom in on our center view here, the other Encore is just literally flying over Saskatoon in the next 4 minutes here. So we may need just like a little delaying vector here, just to kind of keep these two guys separated. Because this guy's also, well, he climbed up to 220. So I mean, they'll have altitude separation, but at the end of the day, they need to have some some longitudinal separation before they get to Winnipeg. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we'll get a few more aircraft on the ground here, because the one thing I want to kind of show off as well that I have been working a little bit on is that in Microsoft Flight Simulator I've started downloading a whole bunch of textures from the Alpha India group, AI textures, and they really kind of, it's a little bit tedious to kind of set it up initially, but when you get it set up, it works quite nicely, and I'm quite happy with what's with the AI traffic that's in the sim now. It's not perfect. And there's omissions and gaps in my AI traffic, but it's not bad. It's definitely not bad. For what they're offering, it's a pretty good system. I don't think I have any terminal views. No, I don't. The other terminals.
Winnipeg Encore 3380 airborne through 3,100 for 5,000.
Encore 3380 Winnipeg, thanks. You're identified. Climb flight level 220 and proceed direct Wayne on course.
Okay, direct Wayne on course and up to 220 for Encore 3380.
Alright, so we'll have to watch him as he climbs, and he's got about 100 knots less than the other dash here. So what we're looking for is 10 miles in trail between these two. We need them separated by 10 miles, one behind the other by the time they get into Edmonton's airspace. So we're probably going to need to take some action to sort of make that happen, but I want to just sort of see where we start here. This guy's got a long way to climb. He won't climb as fast as the other dash is going in cruise, so we might get a couple miles of separation just from the fact that he's going to climb at a slower speed initially. So we'll see what happens here. We're going to sort of play it a little bit by ear. This guy's just about ready, I think. Alright, so just sending WestJet 570 there a text message, just telling him that when ready he can ascend flight level 240, and it's information alpha in Winnipeg. Yeah, maybe we'll get an airplane or two to spawn on the ground here. That's what I'm kind of hoping with a little bit of time on the ground here. We'll get one or two airplanes at least to spawn on the ground maybe, and we'll be able to watch them depart. Because yeah, like I said, I've started to use the Alpha India Group's model matching. I've got their one-click installer installed, and I've used it to install a whole ton of liveries. I spent like an afternoon, like probably about 5 hours on an afternoon one day installing liveries. Ready to send flight level 240. Okay, so he heard me. And like I said, like I'm pretty impressed. I've done some flying around the VATSIM network now, and in general, the model matching works pretty well. There are some things that are missing, and now the biggest thing that's missing today, I discovered it because Aerosoft released their Twin Otter, is that I don't have any Twin Otter AI traffic, so I'm going to probably need to try and find some a Twin Otter model. I don't know if AIG has made one anywhere. The way the AIG packages work is they're packed by airline, and you'll get a whole number of different types for one airline. So you pick the airlines you want to download. So a Twin Otter is not one that's kind of in all the mainstream airlines that I picked. So I didn't find it. I didn't find one in any of the downloads. So you pick the airlines you want to download based on where you fly, and then it'll download those packages for you, which is kind of nice because then you can kind of minimize the extra installs for airlines that you don't need, airlines that you don't ever see. But on the flip side of that, if you go to somewhere random, if you decide to go fly in Europe tomorrow, you may not have a lot of European airlines if you're North American centric, as I tend to be. So it's a little bit, in the long run, I think it's a good thing, but it makes it a little bit tedious to kind of work with the installer because it takes time to get all these packages kind of selected and downloaded. And then you've got to get model matching working, which also takes a little while here. So let's see here. Just in the time that this guy's been climbing and this guy's been outpacing him, they've got 4.5 miles of separation. I may not need to do anything. I may just be able to just sit and just watch that, and I think it might be okay. But we'll see. So hopefully we'll get a few more aircraft than we've got here. Which actually for Winnipeg, this is not bad. It's mostly overflights, which is generally the way Winnipeg tends to work, but it's not terrible. We got one inbound from Toronto. Probably going to get here, hopefully, just in time. The plan for me right now is to stream until about 5 Zulu, which is about an hour and 20 minutes from now. I tried to get on a little sooner, and even then I was trying to kind of configure stuff and set stuff up, and I thought I had it all configured and set up, and apparently I did not. So, so hopefully this guy will get here. He's showing 5:26. We might be able to accommodate that if he maybe puts the pedal to the metal a little bit. And yeah, otherwise right now, and then there's one other guy departing Vancouver right now, and that's just not gonna be good enough there. We're gonna be long gone before he gets here, but that's just the way it works. Winnipeg is a center that it's got quite a lot of good airports in it, but it often ends up being it's an unsung hero. It's one of those places where people just doesn't immediately come to mind when a lot of people think of like famous airports to fly to. So it ends up being a lot of overflights between the east and the west coast, and then even sometimes from Anchorage down to the east coast or transpolar operations. You end up with that sort of thing. So you don't end up with a whole lot of traffic. That's why I saw like eight aircraft within the Winnipeg airspace. I said, well, let's log on to Winnipeg because that's actually for Winnipeg. That's a pretty good night. That's a fair number of airplanes, and unfortunately, only one of them is destined within our airspace. But we also had this departure, so I mean that's another thing. We'll see. Hopefully if we're here for another hour or so, we'll lure in a few more airplanes at least. Unfortunately, not much is happening. WestJet just started down. Everybody else is kind of working out really nicely here. How's the spacing here? 5.7. He might need a little turn for some spacing. Because now they're almost doing the same speed. Encore 3380 Vancouver. Or Winnipeg? What's your speed in the climb? I keep saying Vancouver.
Present 275 knots.
All right, Encore 3380. For the sequence to Edmonton, let's make it speed to 250 knots indicated or less for the climb, and hopefully I shouldn't need to turn you that way.
Okay, very good. We'll slow to 250 in the climb for Encore 3380.
Yeah, I guess he's at 13,000. Yeah, 280. Yeah. Okay, yeah. It's a pretty fast climb for it, even for a Dash 8, but there is no Edmonton controller online, but I always like to act as if there is one because, first of all, an Edmonton controller could log on at any point in time, but it also just helps the pilots if we've kind of established
Encore
separation.
345, request 2 minutes away from flight deck.
Encore 345, it's approved. Let me know when you're back.
Roger.
Yeah, you never know when there's going to be another controller log on, so you try to help them, but you help the pilots as well. So if I make sure that the 10-mile separation that a controller would need is established, then it's very likely that they're not going to be in conflict by the time they get to Edmonton. The one will stay in front of the other, and it'll just work itself out quite nicely that way. So it's kind of what we're hoping for here. This guy's going to go into Toronto airspace. This guy's going to go into Toronto airspace. Yeah. Maybe in about 30 to 45 minutes, this airspace might be empty of aircraft, but we'll see what happens. In the meantime, I'm just going to pull up my plates here and just see what's going on. Because Winnipeg is not a place I control particularly often. I like to do it once in a while. I'd like to do all the FIRs I can and kind of keep up with all the FIRs I can a little bit, but it's not one I spend a whole lot of time with, so I definitely need to kind of refresh myself a little bit every time. And is this guy on the star? He's on the Ambil 3 arrival. Yeah, there he is. Langruth from the East Runway 13. Okay, so 1000. Wow. And I even typed the word Vancouver. At least that way I could, at least typing it, I got a chance to correct myself before I sent it. WestJet 570, descend 8,000. That's hilarious. I just keep saying Vancouver. I mean, I predominantly control Vancouver, so I'm very used to saying it. But it's funny, like, how much I'm saying it without even realizing it. I'm just yep, Vancouver, Vancouver this, Vancouver that. No. Today we're Winnipeg. Winnipeg. Must remember we're Winnipeg. Alright, he says 8,000, altimeter 3063. So he's going to land runway 31, so we'll have to swing around this way to see him land. But he's coming in on this arrival. Does he enter a left downwind? Yeah, a left downwind for runway 31. So he's going to come over here. We're going to see him, and I think we're going to see him. He's a WestJet 737. I'm pretty sure I've got WestJet 737s loaded in my AIG traffic here. So. How are we doing spacing wise on these guys here? It's not bad. We'll see what when Encore 30. I'm just gonna close this. When Encore 345 calls back on the flight deck, we'll see what he says for speed. It's a pity that the one guy that's landing in Winnipeg is a text-only pilot too. Not the most interesting evening, but what are you gonna do? You take what you can get sometimes. I'm actually pretty impressed with the coverage, ATC coverage we had in Canada today. We had quite a bit of coverage in Toronto for a little while there. I had Moncton online for a while. Wow, suddenly there's a whole bunch of departures in Vancouver. I should have logged on to the Vancouver Center. Well, I'm not going to do it now. Not going to switch it up midstream. You know, you never know what's going to happen on VATSIM. You never know where people are going to log in. You hope that when they see people online, they're going to say, hey, I should fly there where the people are, but you just never know what people are going to do on the VATSIM network. You never know where they're going to log in. But I did see quite a bit of ATC coverage in Canada today, which is good. Which is good. It's been a little bit quiet, I would say. Encore 345, are you back on the flight deck? And Encore 3380, you're just a little close to the traffic ahead. What's your speed right now?
We've got an indicated airspeed of 255 knots, ground speed of 300, and we have the traffic in sight.
Yeah, Encore 3380. I just need just a couple miles more separation. So if you can pull it back, just reduce speed to, let's say 10 knots indicated for now. Pull it back to 240 indicated, and I'll probably get you that 255 back in about 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay, 3380 copies all, 240 knots until otherwise told. Thanks.
Thank you.
Encore 345 back.
Encore 345, thank you. And what's your indicated airspeed?
250.
Encore 345. All right, 250 or faster. You're number 1 for Edmonton.
Roger, 250 is our max. Encore 345.
All right, as long as you don't go any slower, that works for me. Air Canada 312. He's going to just cut through Minneapolis airspace. Minneapolis not online, so I'm just going to hold on to him because he's going to come right back into our airspace. I wouldn't transfer him in the real world. I just simply, you know, I just simply point him out to Winnipeg and, or to Minneapolis and just say, hey, I'm just going to keep him because he's going to be right back in my airspace in 3 minutes here. All right, what we do need to do is we do need to get the Winnipeg terminal going here. So there's Winnipeg terminal for runway 31. I hate these giant runway numbers, so I'm just going to try and get rid of those. Get rid of as many of these as I can. Let's see here. That's probably Brandon, isn't it? Or is this one a Portage? No, that's Portage. Portage. Yeah, there it is. Get rid of that one. And then... CYAV, there it is. There. No, I didn't, Mr. Runway. I just don't like it. The runway numbers are so big, which is kind of funny because it makes me think of I was flying in
Air Canada 107.
Air Canada 107 Winnipeg. Go ahead.
We're going to be sipping away for like 5 minutes.
Air Canada 107. Okay, it's approved. Let me know when you're back.
Alright, we'll do. 107.
So close now. I just want to see it.
Encore 3380.
Encore 3380, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just looking at VATSIM there. It doesn't show that you're online, actually.
Huh, that's funny. That's probably why I'm not getting a whole lot of more traffic here.
I'm showing you online.
let's see here. How do I... ATC. There we go. Yeah, no, I see it. I see myself as Winnipeg Center. All right, Encore 3380. The spacing looks good. Speed 250 knots or less. Proceed direct camera.
Okay, 250 knots or less, and direct camera for Encore 3380.
Thank you. All right, Air Canada 107's away. All right, so those guys are good for now. Don't know if we're going to get an Edmonton Center controller, but there we go. Tom TG, welcome back to the stream. Unfortunately, it's not the most interesting evening, but I'm hoping that we'll get a couple people to log in here at some point. Oh, and we did. We got somebody to log in. Oh, is that you? Oh! Look behind the terminal there. Can I do it? There you go. There's that little Air Canada tail just hanging out there. Alright, there's your flight plan. Going to Regina. Very nice. Thank you. That'll give us some activity at both ends here, so that's great. That's great. I'm going to do the VOGIG 2 off of 31. And yeah, there we go. I mean, if we wanted to, like right now, I'm kind of what I'm doing here on my Microsoft Flight Simulator here is I'm basically simulating the view out of the tower. Now, I'm actually just a little bit taller than the tower. There's the tower right down there, so I'm not quite over it. But that's what I'm kind of doing, is I'm kind of simulating the view of if I was in the control tower. This is kind of what the airport would look like, tiny bit lower, but otherwise kind of this idea. But we can always fly around too and just see what you look like. But we'll watch you taxi out. So great, we got another aircraft. That's great. We're gonna have something going on here. Maybe I'll even be able to reload the sim in Regina by the time you get there. That'll be default scenery, but sometimes it's better than nothing. All right, here comes the WestJet. I'll just get him to descend 5,000. And let's see here. Just watching the star here because he's got a crossing height of 52, and if we get the ILS Zulu runway 31, he wants it via Dutroux, and that's a 3,000 foot crossing. I never did ask him which approach he's planning, so there we go. Sounds like Toronto Centre is closing because he's asking if he can give an early handoff on this Canadian Express 674, which is fine. Always good to try and all right, so things are looking okay. We got an aircraft there, so we'll be able to watch him taxi out in the tower view. Here comes the handoff from Toronto of Canadian Express 674, which we were expecting. But I guess we're not gonna get a chance to hand off to him. Oh well, so be it. Sometimes it's just the way life is.
Air Canada 107, I am back.
Air Canada 107, thank you very much.
Winnipeg Center, good evening. Canadian Express 674 is with you, flight level 360.
Canadian Express 674, flight level 360. Welcome aboard.
Roger, thank you. Canadian Express 674, and we don't see you yet in our panel, but that's probably because we're still just a little bit outside of your airspace.
Yeah, Toronto was closing, so he said he decided to send you over a little early.
Yeah, by about 258 miles.
It's fine.
That's still 20 minutes.
It's nothing against the 1,000 miles of airspace you got in front of you.
I know.
Who is it here?
And of course I'd be crazy enough to pick the MD-88.
You'll get here eventually.
5 hours later.
Oh, how long is that flight from Regina to Winnipeg to Regina? 53 minutes. So yeah, so if you get off the ground,
I love the one-sided conversation because the airspace is so large.
It's not like we're doing much else right now.
How was your day today, sir?
I got my booster, so I got a sore arm.
We're late. Also, quick question for you, Winnipeg fan.
Yeah, go ahead.
Your voice sounds familiar. Do you stream on either Twitch or YouTube? And do you normally control Toronto?
Yes. I control almost anywhere in Canada now, but yeah, I mostly control in Vancouver and Toronto, but I try to keep myself current in all the other FIRs as well.
Okay, good to know. I wasn't. I kind of figured the controller would be stationed just wherever. I guess they started, but that's good to know.
In general, yes, but I've tried to make myself available as a guest in all of Canada, just because I also work in the headquarters, so I kind of want to be able to relate to all the different positions in Canada.
Yeah, it makes sense. That sounds great.
Encore 345, Winnipeg. You're just leaving my airspace to the west. Edmonton's not online. Switch the en route frequency. Surveillance service terminates. Just keep the speed up. You're number one there for Edmonton as far as I'm concerned, ahead of a company Dash 8 220, 10 miles behind you.
Alright, over to Unicom, and we got the traffic. Encore 345. See ya.
See ya. And Encore 3380, you're about to leave my airspace as well. I got nothing else for you, so you can switch to en route frequency as well. Surveillance service terminates. Still got a good 10 miles behind the traffic. If you keep the similar speed all the way down, should not be an issue in Edmonton.
Okay, 33 XL, thanks for the ATC, good evening.
Thanks, good night.
Winnipeg Centre, very good evening. Canada 427, gate 11. Request to clarify clearance to Regina.
Air Canada 427, Winnipeg, good evening. You're cleared to Regina. The Vogate 2 departure. Radar vectors 2. Libby flight plan route. Depart runway 31 and squawk code 0664.
Cleared to Regina on the Vogate 2, departure flight, actually radar vectors to Libby, runway 31, squawk 0664, Air Canada 427.
Air Canada 427, that readback's all correct information. Alpha, still current here in Winnipeg. Push and start at your discretion and call ready for taxi.
We have information Alpha on board and we'll call for taxi. Thanks, Air Canada 427.
And you know what I realized is that it was not turned on, probably because of when I reset the scope, it flipped off. So now that I got it all sorted out, now it should stay on. Alright, so Andre wants the link to the Discord. Yep, absolutely. Give me a second. Let me just look it up here. This was not a planned stream. This was a surprise last-minute stream, mostly because I did not... as I said, I got my booster today. I wasn't sure how I would feel. So, I didn't want to sort of... I kind of had an idea that I would try to do this, but I didn't want to commit myself to it in case, like, I really kind of felt under the weather. because I got the Moderna, and most people who get the Moderna have always said it's quite. What am I trying to say here? Um, Sorry, I'm just looking at this. I'm doing it. They say that the reactions to the vaccine are worse than Pfizer and some of the other ones. So, yeah, so far just a sore arm. Probably tomorrow is probably when it'll really get bad. But I didn't want to commit to it. But yes, I do have a Discord, and I do have everything up here. If I can, where's my chat here? Okay, so there you go. There's the link for the Discord. Go ahead and join it and watch that stream scheduling channel. I try to schedule streams at least once a week. It doesn't always work, but I try. And yeah, my arm's a little bit sore right now. It's getting more sore by the hour here. Oh, there he is. There's WestJet 570. But yeah, I'm expecting tomorrow I'm probably going to feel worse. So that's kind of that's why I didn't want to publish this one. But I do have a stream plan for everybody that's watching and is interested. I do have a stream plan for Saturday morning. I'm going to do this one come hell or high water because it's going to be my return to Twitch. I have not done a Twitch stream in quite some time, but I'm going to be back on Twitch on Saturday morning, and we're going to fly the CRJ from Chicago down to Wichita, finishing up the last 2 legs of my current pilot's life season. So we're going to do that one. We're going to get that done, and then I've got some other ideas for my streams after that. Let me just clear this guy to land here. So Saturday morning, probably starting at about 9:30 Eastern time, which is 14:30 Zulu, is when I'm planning to start the stream, and it's my return to the flight deck finally. Because those of you that have watched my channel know that I've not been in the flight deck now for 4 months, and for those of you that really are kind of religious watchers of my channel and have listened to my streams even after the fact here, you'll know that it's because I have been actually renovating my basement for the last 4 months. So I took the sim apart because that's where it resided, and I didn't have anywhere else really with enough room to set it up. So it's been 4 months without flying at all. So I'm happy to have the sim back open, happy to have the sim up and running. I've been flying the CRJ a bit, getting used to it again, getting used to kind of just operating the sim again. It seems to be somewhat reliable. I've had a few days where it's been a little glitchy between track IR and a couple of things, but it's mostly reliable. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting a stream going on Saturday morning. So please, if you're around, please join me. Yeah, I cleared this guy to land, so I'm just going to drop the track on him. But yeah, that's my current plan, is let's get this stream going on Saturday morning, and then it'll just be the one way because I've got other things to do on Saturday as well, but we'll do the return leg, and then after that, I'm going to go one of 2 ways. And it's kind of dependent on the biggest thing that's dependent on is kind of PMDG's release of their 3.7, because what I'm kind of planning right now, thinking about right now, is that if they release their 3.7, I'm going to switch my pilot's life career to go fly for the 3.7 for somebody. So I might take up a career with Southwest or somebody and fly the 3.7 around for a couple of months in Microsoft Flight Simulator. The other thing that I'm also kind of looking at doing right now, just as sort of a little bit of a comeback tour, is I was going to take the CRJ and do just a little Canadian tour. Take my Canadian Express CRJ and fly it, visit some of the good payware and good freeware airports in Canada, flying west to east. So I was going to start in Halifax, fly down to I'm just going to close my Discord there. Fly from Halifax down to Vancouver, stepping through most of the good scenery. So I would stop at, I might even do like a really quick hop to Moncton, hop over to Montreal, Ottawa, over here to Winnipeg. I'll stop at Sault Ste. Marie as well because I have some scenery for Sault Ste. Marie, Winnipeg, and then probably skip over Calgary and Edmonton because there's no good scenery for them yet, and over to and last but not least, I'd go over to Kelowna and Vancouver and just visit some of these really well done airports and just give it a little bit of a tour of some Canadian scenery and kind of a little bit of a comeback tour for me as well. So it's kind of my long-term plan, is to kind of try and do that, do some shorter and longer legs, just kind of for fun, promote some of these better sceneries anyways. guess I should probably actually have my Winnipeg ground view up here. I'm just sitting here talking away. Hold on a second. Let's see if he's turning on to kilo here. Oh shoot, I somehow froze it.
Winnipeg Centre, Canada 47, ready for taxi.
Air Canada 427, Winnipeg, runway 31. The altimeter is 3033, still Alpha. Taxi Echo Hotel Charlie, hold short 31. I can't turn this anymore. I did something.
Yeah, information Alpha on board, and we'll hold short 31 by Echo Hotel Charlie at Canada 47.
I don't know what I did to it. Somehow I killed the drone camera. Ugh. I was typing. I thought I was typing in the text box. I was typing in this window, which froze the drone camera, and I don't know how to unfreeze it now. Ah, no. I have airplanes on the ground, and now I blew it. Anybody have any suggestions on how to move the drone cam? Whoa. I don't know what that was, but there we go. There we go. There's my two airplanes taxiing at the same time, and you can see that they both look... Oops, sorry, wrong button. Trying to get used to controlling this here. You can see that they both look pretty good, honestly. It's, you know, and if you get close to them, you're going to see, like, they're not, like, the most detailed aircraft in the world here. Because they are just AI models, but they do not look half bad. They really are not half bad models. And certainly from any distance, they're going to more than sort of fill the void of aircraft. So I do kind of like that I do have decent AI traffic now within the sim. There's probably a way to mute the sim, but I don't know what it is. I know how to fly the hybrid. So Andre asks if I know how to fly the A320, will it be hard to fly the Boeing? Yes and no. If you understand how to fly an airliner, that will definitely sort of help. You'll sort of understand like the flow of sort of how to do things. But Boeing and Airbus are such different animals in terms of how they operate. Pardon me. I think you will be able to learn it. You won't be able to just jump right in and do it though, because Airbus is very much like everything operates through the FMC. Boeing, the Boeing is a very old school airplane. The Boeing 737 is a very old school airplane. There's a lot of switches up top that you need to constantly throw. Like honestly, with the Airbus, like you throw about 6 or 8 switches and that's it. And you're done. You're ready for You're ready at least to start taxiing and start the engines and take off. With the 3.7, there's tons of stuff. Like when you start the engines, you have to manually switch the generators on. You have to manually turn the packs on. There's so much you have to do. Air Canada 427 Winnipeg, contact me once you're airborne. The winds 250 at 5, clear for takeoff runway 31.
We'll contact you on airborne, clear for takeoff runway 31, Air Canada 47.
So it's a huge amount of work to learn how to operate the to learn to operate how the 737. The 737 is probably the oldest airliner design that's still in production, I would think. I feel like it predates the 47. I think it predates the 47. So it might be the oldest airliner that is still in production. Yeah, you set the parking brake and the noise just stops. So it's very old school in that respect. It's a lot of switch flipping, an endless amount of switch flipping to get the airplane started. You can learn it, and you'll get good at it if you learn it, but you will need to read the manual. You will need to follow the flows. The nice thing about it is, like, you get this fantastic sense of accomplishment when you learn the flows. It's going to take you a while. You're going to need to pull the manual. One thing PMDG is great about is they give you the real world manuals. You can read through them, and they usually give you very good tutorials as well. That's something that PMDG has always done well, is they've done written tutorials for the 37 in the past. They're probably going to be doing video tutorials now for this version of the 37. So they do very good tutorials, which helps a lot in terms of learning the aircraft. But you'll have a great sense of satisfaction when you can learn that airplane, and you'll be able to take it and work the flows and then run the checklist and get the airplane airborne without having to necessarily reference the manual constantly. So it takes a lot of work. But personally, I think that's fun. I think that's the fun part. Is the Airbus is almost too easy sometimes by comparison.
And Walker 940, we request climb flight level 340.
Walker 940, I see you're in the climb there. It's approved climb flight level 340.
Thanks. Forgot to turn auto step climb off, climbing 340, Walker 940.
Darn those pilot convenience items.
Winnipeg Centre, Air Canada 47, passing 3,300.
Air Canada 427, thanks. You're identified at 4,000. Turn left direct Duckpo on course. Climb 16,000.
Left direct Duckpo, and we'll climb 16,000 Air Canada 47.
There you are, still going. You're a very faint light there. I'm not even sure how well that even shows up in the stream because you're just a very faint set of lights back out there. But nevertheless, kind of fun to watch that. Good to see the AI traffic is working. So it wasn't easy, but I got it done. If I can find it here, I can probably show you actually here how I got this done. For anyone that hasn't seen it and is thinking about it, you've VATSIMers out there, how to set this up. There's two steps to it. The first is to set up the AIG manager and traffic controller. So there's two programs. So you have to go to the AIG website and set up two pieces of software, download two pieces of software. One's called the AIG manager, one's called the AIG traffic controller. The AIG traffic controller kind of actually lets you set up, like, if you want to have like AI traffic, it allows you to sort of set up flight plans and stuff like that. But what you're going to be using is the AIG manager. So if I run it here, and apparently it's running an update anyways. Of course it is. Acknowledge Bravo. And he's direct Duckpo. There he goes, still going out there. So you'll need to install two pieces of software from the Alpha India Group's website, the AIG controller and the AIG manager. And the AI manager here, you'll select your SIM, okay, and what it comes up with, first of all, you have to do you have to scan your SIM to see what you've got. So it might have, when you run it, it'll tell you if there's new liveries and models available that you can then download, which is really kind of nice. Air Canada 107, you're about to leave my airspace to the west. Edmonton's not online. Switch to the en route frequency. Surveillance service terminates. Have yourself a good night.
Roger, we'll switch over to 22.8. Have a great night, Air Canada 107.
Thanks, you too. Air Canada 427, continue climb, flight level 340.
Climb 340, Air Canada 47.
Alright. So the one thing I found is that this does take a long time to sort of scan. When you first start it, just don't plan on sitting here watching it initially. Just do something where you can let it run. Once it's run, then you're going to have a whole list of airlines to add. And I'll show you how to do that once this thing finally decides to finish. Alright, so he's going to Regina. So we got the Regina weather. The winds are 150 at 9. Let's do this. Let's open up a Regina terminal view. So let's open this back up. And then let's resave it as a Regina view now so we can make sure we have this for the future. So let's see if I can... There we go. There's Regina. I've been to Regina before. Looks like the winds are favoring 1-3. So we'll see if that's what he wants, but that's what we're gonna plan on anyways right now. Sun's going down pretty quickly here in Winnipeg. It's getting dark. I think he's gone. Long gone to the point where I can't see him anymore. Can we still see WestJet? Where's WestJet? There he is. Yep, he's still parked at the gate. Still offloading. Alright, now I'm down to 4 airplanes in my airspace. We're getting there. Yeah. He's not going to be here for a while. Oi, oi, oi. Pedal to the metal, buddy. Or I'm not going to stick around for the arrival here. Alright, is it loaded yet? Nope, still scanning. It takes a long time. It scans your sim to look for what AI traffic you've already got installed, so it takes a long time to kind of scan through that depending on how much you've got in your community folder. I've got a lot in my community folder, I'll admit, so it's taken a long time to sort of scan through that. Alright, setting up the VMR files is a real pain. Yeah, so that was part 2, and Andre was saying that setting up the VMR files is a real pain, and it can be. Andre, I don't know if you've ever heard of or found model matching magic. It's not great, but it helps make things a little better. And I was going to kind of get to that once we kind of get through all this, but I can go through it right now. Lucas, it's nice to see you. Sorry for the surprise stream, but as I was saying earlier, I got a booster shot today, so I wasn't sure if I was going to feel up for it, because some people seem to be really taken out by it right away. I'm still feeling okay, just a sore arm right now, but we'll see how I feel tomorrow too. So, anyways, the other program that you really should get, and anybody who flies in MSFS, I heartily encourage you to get this software. It's a simple piece of software called Model Matching Magic. And all it does is it simply scans your community folder and allows you to generate a VMR file for vPilot to read and understand. So I'm going to hit scan here. It's going to take a couple minutes because I got a lot of aircraft models installed. And it takes quite a bit of kind of initial playing with, going through to really kind of get it to work well. But it's one of those things where you kind of do it once, and once you've set it up, it works. And the nice thing is it remembers what you've done before, the tweaking you've done before. There it is. So this is all of the aircraft, and just look at like the size of this list here. This is all of the aircraft models that are installed in my sim that it could find. All the different liveries and everything that are installed in my sim. So an absolutely horrendous amount of stuff in here. What you'll see is some of them are black, some of them are red. Basically what it will do is it will go through and it will try to figure out, based on the name of the model, the airline and the aircraft type code, so that it can do the model matching in VATSIM. So if it sees a British Airways A320, it's got all these different British Airways A320 models that it can choose from, choose one of them at random. vPilot will choose one of them at random to draw this aircraft. So it will go through all your models and it will try and figure out automatically a lot of them. The red ones are ones that I've had to modify. So in some cases it won't find something. So if I skip to the bottom here, like some of these ones here, Airbus A320neo fly-by-wire Christmas livery. There's not a real airline, so it didn't know what to put under the airline here. It knew the aircraft type, but didn't know the airline. So what I could do is I can personally go in here and edit this and assign an airline type code if I need to. So some of them, anything that's red here, I've had to edit. So for example, the American Airlines DC-6. It didn't recognize something here. Maybe it didn't recognize DC-6. Maybe it didn't recognize American Airlines. So I put in one of these things here. The nice thing is once you've run this thing once, it remembers all the changes you've made. So even if I scan the folder again, it remembers these changes I've made. Once I've made all these changes and I'm happy with it, I hit generate VMR file, load that into vPilot, and I've got model matching. The tedious part of this is going through it. As you can see here, there are pages and pages of red stuff where I had to match something. In most cases, it was the aircraft type code. The airline it figured out, and it was mostly the aircraft type codes that were not in there. But sometimes it doesn't figure out the airline, but it figures out an aircraft type code. So whichever thing is missing, you can pop it in there, and then you can include it in your VMR file, or you could just skip it. If you really don't want to be that into it, you can just skip it. So automatically, anything that it doesn't recognize properly, it's just going to check this exclude button, and it won't be included in your generated VMR file. If you want to include it in your VMR file, you just uncheck the exclude button, and it will be included. And especially if you start typing in manual stuff, you'll want to uncheck that exclude box. So I went through, and it took me probably about an hour, honestly, to go through this, and it's a lot of work. But this is probably the vast majority of AI airplanes I'm ever going to add. This is the majority of like the North American and world airlines for AIG that AIG has. So I'm not going to have to go through this list again. If I decide to add another airline, I might have to go through that airline on this list and add just that. But the nice thing is, any changes I've made, it remembers. Next time I run the program, they're all still in there, so I only have to just change whatever new models I've added. So fantastic piece of software, really simple, easy to kind of use. It's a little tedious, but like I said, that was 1 hour out of my life. But now I have like fantastic model matching every time I fly VATSIM, so I think that's totally worth it. I see you guys are chatting a lot, so nice to see a different view of our takeoff roll out of Winnipeg. And Mr. Guzwin says, greetings from Costa Rica, welcome aboard. It's a lot colder here than it is in Costa Rica, no doubt. I actually turned the snow off. If I turn on live weather, it's actually pretty snowy here in Winnipeg. Of course, it's nothing compared to the 40 plus centimeters of snow we got in Toronto in the last couple of days. Anyone who's not from Toronto, holy moly, we got a lot of snow when we woke up on Monday morning. They were calling for 15 to 20 centimeters and 15 to 25 centimeters, and most of the time when they say that, if we get 10, it's a miracle. I woke up and I was like, holy crap. We actually got like 20, 25 centimeters. By the time I went out to go and start clearing out the driveway, we probably had easily 40 centimeters on the ground, and it was drifting higher than that. It's taller than my snowblower. So, yeah, enjoy the warm weather, because, man, winter came with a vengeance this week to the Toronto area. Tyla says, am I online yet? I think I'm online. I've been talking to these guys. Unfortunately, there's not much going on. WestJet logged off, so now there's not much going on. Air Canada 312 Winnipeg. Unfortunately, you're leaving my airspace to the east. Toronto Center's logged off now, so you can switch to the en route frequency. Your surveillance service terminates. Have yourself a great night.
Thanks for the service as always, and we'll go on to 122.8, and have yourself a great night from Air Canada 312.
Good night. Andre says, yeah, fixing the type codes and IOK codes manual one by one takes so long. Yeah, it does, but the nice thing about model matching magic is it remembers it. You do it once, but then it's good. It remembers those for the future. So as long as you don't wipe out your configuration file in the model matching directory, you can add more AI afterwards. So yeah, it took a little while, I'll be honest. That was tedious. But you know what you could do, though? Honestly, you know, if you want a tedious task to do for it, go load up a 3-hour airline flight, and then while you're sitting there in cruise doing nothing else but maybe talking to ATC every 30 minutes here, one of these, you know, this guy right here, Tommy, you could be right now, well, you're kind of still climbing, but you could honestly be sitting there and just typing away at your model matching magic while you're cruising along. So what was I going to say? Yeah, so you know, yeah, it is tedious. I will 100% agree. It was a tedious task to do, but it's one of those, do it once and then it's done. Yeah, Lucas, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that stream on Saturday morning. I've been jonesing for it. I've been flying the sim a fair bit. I flew it today. I've flown almost every day this week. It's just getting used to it again, making sure the CRJ works. It hasn't been broken by any of the updates or anything. My Navigraph's all updated. I'm ready to go. We're going to need about 2 hours. I think we're going to need about 2.5, 3 hours for that flight. We'll get it done. We're not going to do the return flight 'cause I don't think we're going to have time. My nephew's coming over for sleepovers, so I'm not going to have time. So, but we'll get the one done. Unnamed says, "Do you can ATC is ATC and VATSIM nice?" Like I think it is. I think ATC and VATSIM's pretty good. We maintain a pretty professional demeanor. 66. Well, I mean that's for Costa Rica. I imagine 66 is probably pretty cold, but outside right now for us, it's going to drop to like minus 12 Celsius tonight, so it's going to be cold. It was actually a pretty mild day. The snow actually started melting today. We got up to like 4 degrees, but then it's all going to freeze solid. It's all going to be chunks of ice tomorrow. So, and Lucas said, yeah, he called in sick on Monday. Took an hour to get from the 401 and 400 to the 401 and Finch. Yeah, and I believe it because it was unbelievable. I couldn't. Yeah, I haven't seen that much snow in probably 15 years. And apparently the final total was that it was the third largest snowfall that's been recorded in Toronto since they started keeping records. Third largest. Like, yeah, it was huge. Way beyond anything the city normally deals with. And we haven't dealt with that much snow in easily 8 to 10 years. So, yeah. It was a lot of snow. And the worst thing is, like, the cleanup job's only half done, and now it's going to freeze completely solid. Like, I was driving to work yesterday, almost 36, 40 hours after it had stopped snowing, and there were still, like, points where the right lane of the highway just disappeared under, like, a wall of snow. Like, they didn't clear the right lane, and it still wasn't clear. And I don't know if they got around to it. Like, when I was driving home last night, it still was not cleared. So I hope they got around to it today, because if they didn't get around to it today, it's going to be frozen solid. It's just like there's just no warning, and the right lane just sort of just suddenly ends in a wall of snow, and you've got to merge at 100 kilometers an hour. It's like dangerous out there. We didn't call the army this time. It's true. Unnamed 63 says ATC got mad because he got confused about the tax instructions. I mean, I can't speak for every controller. Some people will get mad about things. Everybody's different. I try as much as I can to be patient. With me, it comes down to often how busy am I? Because I really like trying to bring people on board and help people understand and learn and become better pilots. And if you need help, I'll try to help you. But that depends on my ability as a workload. If I'm really busy doing a whole bunch of stuff, then I really can't give a lot of one-on-one attention. So then I try not to get mad, but I tend to have less patience and ability to deal with someone who's not familiar with how things work. But the biggest thing that makes me mad is not so much when people don't understand how things work, but when they choose to just do something anyways without verifying or asking questions and learning how to do it properly. Progressive taxi, exactly. Thank you, Lucas. Like, just if you're not sure about something, please by all means ask. I'd rather have someone ask me 3 times and make sure you know what you're doing than make a whole lot of mistakes. So so yeah, I think a lot of controllers on VATSIM are generally pretty nice, and we'll try to help out newer pilots as much as possible whenever our situation permits. Like, if you were to log on right now, I could give you a lot of attention because there's not much going on. I got 2 airplanes left in my airspace. But if it's busy, then it becomes harder for us to do that, and we become very frustrated. Certainly, like, if there's a big event or something going on, then we're going to normally I kind of expect newer people who are unsure of what they're doing to kind of stay away from bigger events, because you kind of need people to be on their game when the events are bigger, because if you go the wrong way when it's really busy, it can be very hard to kind of figure it out and recover from that. So, but I generally think most controllers on VATSIM try to be helpful whenever they can. But everybody's got a limit too to their patience, I think. We all try to be helpful, but some days if everything just is going wrong and nobody's paying attention, nobody's listening, nobody's following any kind of instructions, then it just you just kind of give up and throw up your hands. You're like, why am I even here saying anything if nobody at all is listening? You don't have snow, you just have beach sand. Damn you. 3 times as much sand. Yeah. Imagine sand up to your waist that you have to walk through. That's up to like your, at least up to your knees. Like we went tobogganing the other day and it was so deep trying to walk up and down the hills. It was so tiring walking up and down the hills. Oh my God. Let's see what we got here. Regina. I know we got an ILS, but I can't remember which runway we got the ILS for. So let's just have a quick little look here so we can get Thomas set up here. He's on the Chemka 6 arrival. And for runway 13, we do have an ILS for 13. Air Canada 427 Winnipeg. Regina winds are showing 150 at Niner. And right now we got 15 miles and sky clear with a temperature of minus 29. Dew point of minus 32. The altimeter 3051. So runway 13 unless you prefer something different, and let me know what approach you're planning. And make me say it again.
Yeah, there altimeters, and yeah, we'll take ILS runway 13 if that's possible. Air Canada 47.
Air Canada 427, no problem. Plan the ILS 13.
ILS 13, Air Canada 47.
I-13 it is. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, the ATC and VATSIM, like anywhere else, it's people. It's actual real people. Some people in this world are nice, some people are not. At the end of the day, being a nice person is not necessarily a prerequisite to be a controller in VATSIM. It makes it easier to train people if you're nice and you get along better with other people, but it's not a prerequisite. You don't have to be a nice person to be a controller in VATSIM, but I think it helps. I think it makes you a better controller if you can relate to people, interact with people, but some people just are not nice, and some people are just sometimes stressed because there's so much going on. I find that VAT USA is generally a little shorter with people who don't know what they're doing. And I hate to make too much of a generalization because I think it's mostly only because VAT USA is usually busier, especially like center controllers are usually dealing with so many airplanes in VAT USA. You got 20 or 30 airplanes on your frequency doing different things. You don't have the time to babysit anybody, and that's the problem. I don't think it's a case of VAT USA controllers generally not nicer. It's just they're generally busier, so they just generally have less time to help. Peck pig, quine, carrot, rose. I feel like I also already planned this out. At least once. I planned it out at least once because what was I gonna say? I planned this out at least once because yes, there it is. I planned it out once as well because I was trying to figure out the time frame that we needed to do it. Yeah, let's see what route did I plan. Yeah, it looks like I planned the same route. The first one in SimBrief here. Pecu, pig, quain, carrot, rose, MCI, Casso, ICT. Yeah, I planned the exact same route. I took the first route in SimBrief that it gave me. So yeah, the estimate the other day was just over 2 hours of airtime, so it's not particularly long. I really kind of wanted to do like a super mega stream and kind of like do like the whole turn in one go, but it's just a little bit too long. I think it would be almost a 6-hour stream. I don't have that kind of time off, certainly not on a weekend. So we'll have to split it in half, but we'll definitely we'll definitely have some fun. I'm sure it is. I also picked up again the FSX scenery KICT, but I think it's big enough. Hold on, let's have a look at the charts here. But I'm pretty sure because you're flying. What are you flying? You're flying the you're flying the 320, right? Oh, it's a fairly decent sized airport. I'm just opening it up in another view here, but I'm sure it's big enough to handle a 320. I know it's not exactly Chicago O'Hare, but it's a decent sized airport. Here's the airport diagram. I mean, we got 10,300 because I think we got a National Guard. I feel like we got a National Guard post here. I feel like this might be the National Guard up here. Juliet, maybe? I don't know. With that kind of holding pad there, it's like a hot ammunition, or maybe here, this might even be a National Guard here too. So I feel like there's a National Guard here at Wichita. But here's the terminal anyways, and it's got like a decent number of gates. I'm sure they're big enough for a 320. I have very little doubt they're big enough for a 320, so no problem. Mr. Gerswin, thanks for watching, and enjoy the warm weather. Please do. Even at 66, you're way warmer than we are. I don't want to go outside tomorrow. It's going to be cold. Oh well. But the one thing I hope, no star. That's okay. We'll figure it out. How are we doing here? Air Canada 427 Winnipeg. When ready, descend flight level 240.
When ready to send flight level 240 at Canada 47.
It's unfortunate, but it looks like we lost our Canadian Express 674, I think it was here, somewhere over here. He's gone. I don't know what happened to him, unfortunately. SIM crash or something. Internet crash, but yeah, unfortunately. So yeah, he's gone. So Air Canada 427 is the one to wait for here. Once he's down and clear in Regina, that's probably going to be the end of our stream for the night, because we don't have a whole lot else going on. Walker's about to leave my airspace to the northwest. And no Edmonton there, so... But we definitely had quite a bit of traffic here, and it just gave me a chance to also just kind of get back up. And something that I definitely want to do more in the future is I want to have tower view open here. This is not something I can do all the time, because in order to do this, I need my desktop PC. So today I'm streaming from my desktop, not my laptop, and that allows me to run Flight Simulator. My laptop does not even have the space to install Flight Simulator. It's got a 500 gig solid state drive in it, which is actually not bad, but just put a couple of games on there aside from it, and it's like very quickly the space vaporizes, especially because I also do video editing on my laptop, which also then uses up a lot of space, so I don't have enough space. That being said, I am saving up some money for a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of stuff on my wish list. One of them is to add a new hard drive. My laptop has room for 2 SSDs in it, so I'm going to add a new SSD to it at some point. The warranty period on it is expired, which means I can then pop the back open and put a new SSD in there. So at some point I will, but I have to save up my money. Well, all my money for the last little while has gone into this this basement here, which you can't even see because it's got I've got the green screen going on behind me, but it actually is you know, so much good stuff has kind of happened with this basement that we finally finished. Because one thing is I've got very nice lighting now. In the past, the streams have not had good lighting. I've had terrible lighting in this room. I just had like one spotlight, and then I had like one like overhead light. Then I had like a desk lamp that I kind of used as a bit of a spotlight, but it was awful. The lighting in here was absolutely awful. The lighting in here is really nice now, which means the green screen also works really well because I've got like a nice general level of light in this room here. But if I take down that green screen here, let me just see if I can get rid of this for a second here. If I can take it away. Alright, sorry, I just had to step away so I could actually take down the green screen. So if I put my camera back on now you're going to see everything back there. It's a little bit washed out, but if I also do this and move my camera, which I actually don't have that much extra wire to move it because I've wired my desk so carefully, you know what I need to do. Hold on one second, guys. I'm just going to have to just adjust my camera slightly here. So what I'm going to have to do, first of all, I'm just going to turn off my chroma key there. But what I'm going to also do is turn off my crop and pad there. So I crop the camera so that I don't get in a whole lot of the green screen and anything outside the green screen. But now that's what the room actually looks like. And yeah. Let me start with first of all, what it used to look like. I'm gonna pull up a quick picture that I took just before I started the demolition. After everything was cleaned out, but before the demolition. I have to scroll all the way back to September in my photos here. I'll take it off in a second. I'll show you the whole thing in a second. Let me just scroll back to what it looked like when I was done. So, if I can put this on, hold on. All right, just want to put this on here. All right, so this is what it looked like. It's going to kind of catch some light there. This is what it used to look like, which is just absolutely horrible. And if I go... There was a built-in wet bar, but we never actually used it, and it was just like, it was dark wood, which it's straight out of the 70s. That was what this thing looked like, and it was very, the thing is, it's a basement, and there was only two small overhead lights in it. It was very dark, and that was probably the biggest disappointment with the whole thing, was it was so dark all the time. Streaming never worked in it, but just in general, it was just so lousy, and I hated it. So literally tore everything down to the studs, and everything's been replaced. So now we have, this is what it looks like now. So we have, let's see if I can turn it without rotating it, sorry. I've got, the camera has a very short leash, so we actually have the bulkhead, we've got a full drop ceiling with pot lights, which creates a very nice ambience over my desk. If I can do this right here. I'm kind of looking at the screen as I'm doing this. I even have track lighting, which also kind of helps with the green screen. We've got nice blinds on the windows, a really nice laminate floor, and then of course a whole desk and the whole flight sim setup, which I'm not even sure that I have enough slack on this cord to do this, because it goes right, because this cord is attached right to a hub underneath my desk, but the whole flight sim setup now is here on this desk. And I just have so much space. I'm able to have my laptop in here. I've got my computer under the desk, but it's very accessible. I can get to it very easily. I can rewire stuff very easily. It's a very nice kind of open concept desk. I can't pull this thing far enough away for you to really see it, but it's a very open concept desk underneath. I've actually had to buy some drawers to go with it, but it's very open concept. So it's easy to get kind of everything done underneath it, which is just so nice. I really can't show you a good shot of my sim pit just because this cord is so short on this thing. Maybe for the next stream I'll put it on the extension cord. I'll put an USB extension cord so I can pull it and actually go around the whole room. But yeah, it turned out very nice. It was a lot of effort, but it turned out really nice. It just looks so good. It's so bright is the other thing now too. It's just so bright. But yeah, that's it, and it's got all sorts of neat features. I've really taken a lot of time to sort of wire up conduits for all of the computer wiring, because there's so much wiring when you have this many accessories. So everything goes into conduits, so it looks very neat on the desktop. And then there's a rack with all the wiring underneath that also, again, keeps it very neat, keeps it off the floor. There's very little wiring on the floor, just the power bars on the floor, and that's it. And what else have I got in here? What else was I gonna say? I can't even remember. But yeah, there's a lot of it. Oh, and I even have can't see it now. Hold on, let me see if I can turn it on here. I haven't even turned it on today, but I even got LED strip lighting for Christmas that I put on underneath the desk just for fun. If I'm in here in the dark and all the lights are off, it's fairly easy to still find my way around the desk. So yeah, it was very much, this basement was straight out of the 1970s. Nothing had been done with it since. So it took a long time to kind of get through all of it. It wasn't level in the least either, so we had to level the basement before we could do anything else. We leveled the basement. I redid the walls because the stud pattern was terrible. The drywall was in terrible condition, so I had to tear off the drywall, redo the stud patterns to kind of match better what we're going to do with the drywall, redo the drywall. put up the vapor barrier. And now we even have like a TV hanging in here, so I wired up the TV to hang on the wall. Yeah, it just took so long to kind of get to this stage, but now it's so nice, it's so bright. It still needs some decor. It's not actually done. The one thing that kind of needs to still happen is over the next week or two, we're going to grab our bookshelves, which we used to have in here, and along that back wall, it's going to be all bookshelves where we keep our games, our puzzles, all that sort of stuff. So that's not Air Canada 427, continue descent 8,000, the Regina altimeter 3051.
Descend 8,000 and altimeter at 3051, Air Canada 47.
Yeah, so we still have a lot of kind of stuff we kind of want to do to sort of decorate this room. Kind of trying to figure out, like, I think I need some shelves over my some display shelves over my screen here, and then we need a little bit of artwork. I already have a little bit of artwork. My daughter made me a
1238 inbound Lumsden VOR flight level 310.
Walker 1238 Winnipeg. Good evening, Squawk Cadet. Walker 1238, thanks. You're identified. Flight level 310. Welcome. All right, and then this is also really nice. This my daughter made for me. So this is for her streaming father. She made me a nice little. My camera's not on straight anymore. I'm really trying to hold this up straight. But anyway, she made me this nice YouTube artwork here. So I'm gonna have to put that somewhere. I don't know where just yet. I'm gonna hang it on the wall, but I kind of want to see where I'm gonna kind of put the shelf and sort of hang some stuff around that. And then the other artwork that I have, you guys may have noticed it when I was panning the camera around, but I have this, which you guys can't even see. There you go. That's the whole entirety of this. This is going to be a world map. Because I don't know if you noticed this while I was panning around the room, but this was also a Christmas present, which is also going to be tons of fun. This is the world's largest Lego set. No exaggeration, this is the world's largest Lego set in terms of the number of pieces in this Lego set. It's over 11,000, almost 12,000 pieces in this Lego set for this world map. And so this is how much I've done thus far, is this. Which is not bad. It's a good start, but this is, yeah, I guess it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm about 15% done. This is about 15% done. So this is going to be weeks and weeks of work putting this together. But then the nice thing is, like, it's basically a piece of art once it's done. We're gonna hang it on the wall in here, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a piece of art that adds a nice touch of color to this room too. Because the one thing about this room, while we wanted it bright, you know, the only thing about painting it gray and having a gray floor is very bright, which is great because it's a basement, but it's also at the same time, it needs color. We need some stuff on the walls to kind of give it some color, so that's what we're kind of looking at doing in the near future. So that is kind of the basement tour, which I'll probably redo again when I do my next stream on Twitch as well, as another introduction to it. But let's see here. I don't think I have a Regina terminal view, so I wonder if I can create one here. So let's try and create one here. Alright, so let's start with this. So there's Regina. And then let's add some useful things here. Like, that? The approaches for runway 13 here. So the ILS 13. So there's a bunch of different approaches for is there only okay. Yep. Alright, so there we go. And do I even have SIDS for Regina? Let's see if I have SIDS at all here. There's the SIDS. Do we have stars for Regina? I mean, CYQR star. There we are. So let's throw on all the transitions for 13 as well here. And there we go. Now we got a nice Regina terminal view. And we can see exactly how he's going to fly it. Love it.
Walker 940, request 60 seconds out of the cockpit.
Walker 940, you're pretty much leaving my airspace to the west at this moment, so you can switch the en route frequency. Surveillance service terminates. Edmonton's not online. Have yourself a good rest of the night.
Forward to Unicom, thanks so much for the great ATC, and we'll see you next time, Walker 940.
Good night. Yeah, I think next time I do a stream, before I do the weekend stream, I'm going to put the extension cord on this camera, and then I'll be able to walk a little bit further around the room and maybe at least show the desk a little bit better. The streaming center. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and narrow the camera back up again here. that was a sudden shocking view there. Alright, yeah, we got about 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here before our Canada 427 lands, and unfortunately that's where we're going to call it for the night. But yeah, that was this is what has kept me away from streaming, but it's very nice. It's nice because I have like a very nice kind of purpose designed room that really kind of helps. But it's not just purpose designed. I mean, the room was just so dark to begin with that good lighting was kind of a necessity, and especially because there's also the bulkhead, the soffit right up the middle of it. You kind of need some good kind of ambient lighting in the whole room. Otherwise, you know, if you only turn on a light in one half, then it really is very dark in the other half of the room. So these pot lights have done a fantastic job. They're on dimmer switches, so we can change the brightness. I have them pretty much on almost full brightness right now, just to it's almost too much. You can see it really kind of washes out the background. If I go over and turn off their background lights, you'll see it makes it quite a bit nicer. So even there, I've just killed the... Now it can't focus on me here. Focus. There we go. It's trying to. It really does not want to focus. The heck? There we go. That's a little better. Yeah, there we go. It's nice to have that lighting, that flexibility. The track lights are a little bit more yellow than the pot lights overhead, but that creates like a very nice, just kind of light for the desk without having to have the rest of the room be obscenely bright. But it works out really nice. And then I've got, like I said, I've got a little bit of under desk LED strip lighting just for a little bit of fun. Can either turn it to match my computer or just turn it to whatever color I like, but it kind of creates a nice little effect underneath the desk. So I'm really kind of enjoying that too. But just nice to have like this ability to kind of have set up a lot of stuff in this office to really kind of, in this rec room, to really kind of meet what I want for a sim pit room. Air Canada 427 to send 5,000.
Send 5,000, Air Canada 427.
But at the same time, it's not just for me. Like it's a room that now we can all use as a family because we did get a couch for it. We got a TV for it, so we can watch TV down here. We're going to, as I said, put all of our games and bookshelves up here, games and puzzles and everything on our bookshelf up here. We're kind of looking at getting some kind of a gaming table and maybe a little bit of extra seating, so we can kind of have a place where we can either play games or watch TV here. So it's a room that the whole family can use. It's not just one room for me, because it's a large room for an office. It would be a large room by itself for an office, but it's a multi-purpose room. But it's just nice to have like this space. And the other thing about this room was like what it looked like before was frankly just downright embarrassing. I mean, everyone has like their own rooms that they've that their own embarrassments, their own office like this, their own basement at some point like this. That is just not what they want. But I hated bringing people down here. It was just so ugly, and it was the other thing too was that even the parts that were done, like even if you liked what they had done with the place, it was still overall like a lot of it was very poorly done. There was no ceiling. It was just bare wooden joists above, and I let that go for 10 years. And considering how easy the drop ceiling was to install, I installed the drop ceiling over the course of about 4 or 5 days. But it's a little bit of just finicky work, but it was not difficult. It was definitely not difficult. So I was a little disappointed that what am I trying to say here? I'm a little bit disappointed that they never did that. I think that was one of the big things that kind of made it dark in here too, was just the fact that it was bare wood above, and the really, really, really cheap looking lighting. Like just so much of what they had done looked so cheap and was done so poorly. I don't know if the previous owners did it themselves, or if they paid like their brother or their uncle or something, like bottom dollar to do like at the cheapest possible basement renovation possible. But as I was disassembling this room, and I found so much stuff that I was just like, why would you do such a poor job in your own home? So it was nice to kind of go through and remedy so many of these shortfalls. The door was things like the door was on the wrong way. It opened against the door into the room opened towards the wall instead of out to the room, and it's like, why? Oh, Lucas, I didn't even see you there. All right, yep, heading to bed. I'm also gonna head to bed very soon. So have a good night, but we'll see you on Saturday morning for sure. Yeah, the door opened towards the wall instead of into the room, and it's like, why? So like even things like that, like I reversed the door, or I put up a new door, so it opens up into the room. It took a long time, but I gotta say it looks pretty good now. Let's see here. Where's that chart gone? Air Canada 427, descend 4000. You're cleared Regina ILS approach runway 13, NADUP transition.
Descend 4000, cleared ILS 13, NADUP transition, Air Canada 47.
It really got dark here in Winnipeg, didn't it? I think my track IR was triggered at some point. It wasn't paused, so it must have triggered while I was there we go. One thing I'm going to do here as well is just get rid of those runway numbers because they're just so big. Why are they so big? But I don't need them anyways. The real radars would not have runway numbers on them, so this is Regina and Moose Jaw. There we go, that's better. Yeah, the real radar would just have the runway diagram on it, and the controllers would have to remember the runway numbers from time to time. All right. Just waiting to see this guy land in Regina. Frankly, at this point, not much is happening in Winnipeg. All right. Let's see if it'll load before he gets down, but I think it will. I imagine it will load. Give it a second here. Come on, Flight Simulator. You can do it. There it is. Regina. This is just a default airport, so don't expect anything particularly good looking here, but I do have... what am I trying to say here? I do have the... I don't even know where the control tower is here in Regina. Check the airport chart really quickly because it's usually marked on the chart. Let's get that control tower view. Control tower is on top of the terminal apparently, so we're going to have to go over the... Oops. Is Regina controlled? Yeah, Regina's controlled. Part-time controlled. Probably at this time of night it probably... Well, actually no, because it's not that late in Regina. It's late where I am. It's not that late in Regina, so it's probably the tower's still open. Here you are. Air Canada 427 Winnipeg. The Regina winds 150 at 9er. You're clear to land. Runway 13.
Clear to land, runway 13, Air Canada 47.
I think this time it loaded. I think now it's on real time, so this is what it's going to look like in real time. Did my Alpha India group ever finish scanning? At least one of your AOCI models that did. Please perform an update. Ah, here we go. But anyways, this is what it looks like when you get the AI Manager up and running. And it has a list of all the airlines. These are all the airlines that I have installed. And then you can also select the ones you want to download from literally a list of 1,000 airlines. And it also includes like a lot of corporate liveries, which is fine. But I definitely am glad I don't want to install like a whole lot of corporate liveries because there's not all that much corporate flying going on the VATSIM network. The odds of anyone flying these particular call signs are pretty low. At least with an airline, you're much more likely to see those call signs. But I mean, if it happens, a certain corporate call sign happens at your home airport, a lot of corporate stuff is in here, so you can go pick it. But yeah, so these are so you'd have to select it, hit OCI bulk to select a whole bunch of them, hit OCI bulk to install them all, and then it logs on to all these websites. All this does is it simply, once you've sort of selected the ones you want to install, it logs on to either avsim or flightsim.com and downloads all these packages from those particular websites using your login ID. So it takes a long time because it does the downloads one at a time. But the nice thing is it's mostly hands-off. You can kind of just sort of set it and then walk away and just leave it to run for a couple of hours. So it's a bit tedious to kind of set up the first time, but once you've set it up, it becomes it's worth it for the long run. All right, here comes my last airplane for the night. Unfortunately for Walker 1238, I just can't stay up already. I just stifled a yawn right there. I'm getting tired. I've been at it for quite a while today. Had an unfortunate night last night, so I didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night. So yeah, we're gonna pull the plug as soon as this guy gets to the gate. I expect 320 is probably going to vacate by about kilo. Maybe. Might roll to the end. Either way. Not putting any pressure on you. Whatever. Just get her done, right? That's the important thing. No pressure, but everyone on stream is watching. But actually, since I said the stream is almost over and it's getting late, most people have logged off anyway, so no pressure at all, Tom. down. Canada 427, welcome to Regina. Left turn on Kilo if you got it, and taxi in the apron at your discretion.
Left turn Kilo, taxi apron at discretion. Thanks very much for the ATC tonight. Have a good evening.
Thanks very much for flying. Have a good night. One thing I will say about Microsoft Flight Simulator that makes it a little bit nicer is definitely the lights are smaller too. That's one thing that you kind of notice, is that the points of light, like nav lights especially that are further away, they're a lot smaller than they were in P3D. In P3D they were quite large, and it was quite obscene to look at sometimes. Right in front of the camera. Love it. And engines off. The second you turn the engines off, the volume just goes to 0. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know who's sneaking up behind you there either. Well. Anyways, that's it for me for tonight, guys. That was tons of fun, though. I'm glad to have done it. This tower review actually works quite well in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and with the AI group traffic models and liveries here, it's starting to look pretty good in the sim here. I'm gonna have to mute that because that's. Oh, thank you. You shut off the engines. There you go. It's off. Everything's off. Lights are off. Everything is dead. There's always going to be like these little kind of funny parts of the sim. It's not a perfect simulation, but it's getting better, and certainly the immersion's pretty good now that you've got like the logos and everything, the proper logos and liveries in the sim. And it's really starting to feel good to me now. The biggest thing we need is some good airplanes, and that's, to me, is going to be what's next. Is that PMDG 737. I can't wait to get my hands on that. I think we're going to fly that. We're going to fly the pants off that when we get that, assuming it works well, assuming it doesn't have too many glitches in the beginning. But yeah, that's enough for me for tonight, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I hope those of you that are still watching had fun. And we will definitely try and get these streams in at least once a week, and we'll try to get some flight streams going on a regular basis as well. So if you haven't been to it before, check out the Discord channel. I try to publish my streams in advance when I know they're coming. Tama, you're welcome. Have a good rest of the night. But yeah, make sure you're subscribed to me on YouTube and Twitch. The flight streams on Twitch are coming back, and I'm contemplating a switch to Twitch for even my ATC streams because it's a little bit of a better platform in certain ways. But anyways, we'll talk about that in the future. For now, I'm gonna go to bed. So everyone, have yourselves a good night. Stay safe and healthy wherever you are, and we will talk to you guys all again real soon. Thank you.